The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 25th day of October 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Maya Palacio, and Teo Dill will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Happy Friday, MP. How are you feeling?
Oh man, happy Friday, Jamal. I'm feeling like I can't wait to go sleep for this weekend. That's what I'm feeling.
You know what that means? That means you've had a very productive week, Maya.
Yep. I told you I tried this ChatGPT thing.
Really?
Yeah, like I put everything into ChatGPT and I said, this is what I do. This is what I want to do. Give me a schedule to be the best version of myself, include workout times, include blah, blah, blah. So this is like week 1.5 because I started like midweek last week. And it tells me I need to like wake up super early every day to get all the things I want to get done. But so far it's been pretty decent. But I'm not gonna lie, this full week took me out a bit.
Hold on. ChatGPT can help you organize your life?
Yeah.
Oh. Audience. ChatGPT can help us organize our lives. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's up.
And I like made it on a little Canva piece and I put it in the back of my desktop so it's right there as soon as I like open up my screen. But yeah, I literally mapped out everything I need to be doing at like every hour or every hour and a half. You should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And then it even brought me out like a little content list of things I could possibly also be doing. So it just streamlined everything I do a lot more. So if you're someone that's similar to me, just like, oh, there's so much to do and you don't want to like, you don't want to just like not do anything and just give up and like go on the couch and just be like, I'll just give myself an hour. No, this literally helped me just refocus a bit more.
I love it. ChatGPT away, folks. That's how you get your life in check. All right, Maya, appreciate that. Good stuff. I'm honestly going to do the same. I'm going to type it in and I'm going to see how ChatGPT can help me improve as a human being. But in the meantime, greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Her Excellency Rena Lalgie, the first Black person and woman to serve as Bermuda's governor. Her term is up soon, so looking forward to an awesome conversation. Always friendly, always love seeing her in public, so I'm sure she'll be a miss. So looking forward to having her today. The daily play is things you should know. Things you should know, folks. Yeah. What'd you say, Mark?
So here we go. I feel like the last questions that we got, I was supposed to know, and I didn't know, and it still haunts me right now. So I don't feel like playing.
So you don't want to play?
Give me some music ones, like good at the music one.
Okay, I see how you are. So you might get to. Maya, look.
Sure.
I have today's question because with this one, I just picked the first card. So I think whatever I pick, I've got confidence in your ability to get it. How's that?
That means I'm not going to get it at all, but go off.
All righty, fine. Folks, if you haven't already, don't forget the, what's it called? A survey. The survey is live. The Daily Hour annual survey is live. So we're just going to share it in the audience for you. You can click that, take no more than 10 minutes to fill out the survey. And your feedback is crucial to our development and improvement as a show and a part of the community. Don't forget, in the meantime, subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Well, Maya, Before we got started, David Michael Wilson says, fantastic Friday, TDH fam and crew. May you find peace in all you do. Live a life free of too many stresses and accomplish all you have in mind to do. And Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Friday, Jamal, Maya, and Teo. I'm so glad to see you again. I'll miss you on the weekend, but Lord willing, Monday, I'll see you again. Indeed. Well, Maya, it's Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Don't forget, 2 years of free membership at Mailboxes. Save on some of those big fees that you're paying in other places. Many of you who have responded to the survey, you've told us you've shipped within the last year. Make sure you're saving with that Mailbox membership. What's the Friday Fun Day question today, Maya? What are we asking the audience?
All right, good morning, everyone. So our question this morning is, you know you're Bermudian if you ask someone to bring you back what from a trip away?
So can I share something?
Mm-hmm.
You know how I'm in and out of Bermuda, right? I'm in and out of Bermuda. This has been my life, right? In and out of Bermuda, back and forth. I got to the point where I'm giving out one of my secrets now.
Okay.
I got to the point where I stopped letting people know when I was coming back because everyone had these expectations. Like, look, I am not a courier company. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a courier. Like, I'm just trying to get home, spend time with my family, my nieces, my family, my daddy, my sisters, you know? And I'm like, nah, I'm not. So I'll show up because Bermudians, honestly, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but we think that somebody coming back from overseas is our special courier. Do we not?
Yeah. I mean,
That's a Bermudian. Is it a Bermudian trait? Got them mad at you today, not me, Maya. Come on, do something that got some angry. It ain't nothing mad at you.
Okay. Let me think right here because I obviously a lot of artists. I have so many artists in my family, right? So that tends to be a big thing. But I would say for Bermudian teachers specifically, if I have to go for teachers, stickers. A ton of stickers, like so many stickers at your primary school level, so many stickers because like apparently you can't just find any regular smiley face large packs of stickers on the island that are small enough. But that tends to be like the number one thing that my mom always needs me to bring back. She's like, oh, please order stickers, please bring back stickers, because there's always like, so stickers. But other than that, it will most likely probably be I've had my godma come back with like Dunkin' Donuts. So, I don't know.
That is the most Bermudian thing. The food, like getting somebody to bring you back like a Big Mac or something. But real quickly, you said it. See, I can appreciate that sticker stuff like that. Here's the thing, and I think we can be very inconsiderate. I don't mind bringing things back for people. Like I almost feel obligated to bring back stuff for my immediate family. You know,
something.
Yeah, I do. Even Bella, the dog, like. She's still mad at me because I didn't bring her nothing back for the last trip. And I'm like, oh, just go Noah's Ark. But anyway, I feel like we can be very inconsiderate in that respect. I know it's Friday Fun Day, but I'm just got to say, folks, we can be very inconsiderate because you be coming for like a week and you're only planning on bringing a carry-on, right? Now you got to change your whole entire plans to bring a big bag because this person wants this person wants that. Folks, if you're going back to Bermuda, if you're overseas right now and going back to Bermuda for the holidays, tell them it's a last-minute decision once you arrive. All right? But okay, as Maya said, the question of the morning, you know you're Bermudian if you've asked someone to bring back what from a trip, right? And also, be honest, be very honest. Do you usually ask people to bring you something back from a trip? We're gonna take a quick break. After the break, we'll go to the audience.
It was supposed to be easy. I shipped the package directly to Bermuda. Simple, right?
Well, Christian's package disappeared.
I called, I emailed, no answer. Weeks went by. Then I got an email. Missing. Missing how? Why? I didn't know what that meant.
Christian was left in the dark. His package gone.
So, I signed up for mailboxes. Now, I'll always know where my stuff is.
Christian survived the Bermuda package triangle. Will you sign up for mailboxes today before it's too late?
All right, make sure you sign up for Mailboxes today, folks. Get your 2 years of free membership. This is Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. And the question of the morning, as Maya said, is you're Bermudian if you've asked someone to bring you back what from a trip? And yes or no, do you usually ask people to bring you back something from a trip? Yes or no? Maya, do you usually ask someone to bring you something to Canada or?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. There is products in Bermuda that I beg people to bring me when they come to visit me up here in Toronto if I haven't gotten it back when I'm back home. Beg.
I think it's part of my personality and how I was raised. In terms of no one ever told me not to ask people for anything, but because everything I've ever been like kind of asked for outside of ending conscription, which is a law, I've asked my parents or like my nana, like, so I've never really asked people to do stuff like for me. And it's weird because people will offer, they'll be like, hey, I'm coming up. Do you want something from Bermuda? Like back when I was in school, I'd probably say ginger ale, even though I didn't really want it. It was just, well, let me say something. But I could not tell you, audience, if you're out there and I've ever asked you to bring me something, tell me if I'm lying, but I don't think I've ever asked anyone to bring me anything. I honestly don't. I'm trying to think. Because I'm not that person. Like I will get, because I'm in Bermuda so often, I can always just get what I need, if I while I'm there. So anyway, I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm really not trying to shame anyone. I'm just trying to think of something in Bermuda that I would say, you know what? Can you bring that for me? Because it would have been Black Seal back in the day, but I don't drink.
You know what? I remember being asked for once, so I was going to visit my aunt in the UK. Mm-hmm. Seasoned salt.
My aunt asked someone bring us some back to Bermuda though, and I was like, huh? But I never understood back then, like pricing and cheap, like bringing it in would be easier. But all right, let's go to the audience. Audience, you haven't asked us. Do you usually ask people to bring you back something from a trip? Yes or no? And also, what you're Bermudian. You're Bermudian if you ask people to bring you back what? So Rashida Godwin just went broad. She said food. She said food. David Michael Wilson said some grease. All right, that's food, folks. That's food. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I'm with you, Jamal. Even for family members, we would just show up. Yeah, don't tell them. Don't tell them. Teo says, talk about it, Maya. The last minute Staples run is legendary. Maya said earlier, her mom's a teacher, so she'd go and get stickers and different things for the classroom. Dronda Butterfield said McDonald's. Yeah.
That was a big one back. Yeah. I remember when someone brought that to school. I remember because the parents had come back with it apparently from a trip and they had brought it to school for lunch that very same day. And I remember being shocked. Just shocked. Like, where'd you get McDonald's? Like, shocked.
What's weird to me about that? When I used to see people doing it, like the whole idea of Dunkin' Donuts and all this stuff was that it was fresh. But time it gets to Bermuda, it's no longer fresh. And then with like McDonald's and stuff, it's like, audience, me. Again, not shaming. I'm not a big like microwave person, right? So the food's not like kind of fresh for me. So you'd have to put it in the oven. So I don't know. I never did it, but obviously I'm in my friends and family who've done it for people. So that probably is interesting for Bermuda because even other islands, they have like Burger Kings and McDonald's and stuff, whereas we don't, right?
You know what? I just realized that I asked my friends to bring me back whenever they're in the airports, if they can.
What?
Auntie Anne's.
Nah, Auntie Anne's. There's little pretzel things.
Yes, I get the mini cinnamon ones.
That's what I was going to say.
They are way too good. Way too good.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. Cinnabon or Auntie Anne's, if they are in the airport, because I know you Bermudians travel through Charlotte a lot, through American, right? If I happen to be in Bermuda for an extended period, which is 10 days for me, if I'm in Bermuda and you're coming through Charlotte, and I know that, your boy might actually ask you for a favor. I'm serious. That's like an addiction. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the audience. You're Bermudian. If you've asked someone to bring you back what? Yes, Dunkin' Donuts is up there. I don't ask folks, but they've asked me. I stopped years ago. Dunkin' Donuts. I remember in Boston years, people getting the Dunkin' Donuts because they had it in the airport at Boston, if I'm not mistaken. Seasoning salt, like you, Maya, says, John the Butterfield. John the Butterfield says, not really, but people do sometimes regarding does she ask people to bring something back? All right, so let's continue. You got anyone from the audience you want to bring, Maya?
Oh, so I know you looked at the comments there. Carl Otterbridge says, nope, I don't ask. It feels imposing, but my brother-in-law would ask for a Big Mac or a Pizza Hut pizza.
Oh.
I haven't had Pizza Hut pizza in ages. It's like, why don't you? Charles H. Jeffers says, I may ask my immediate family if I'm paying for their ticket. I hate being asked to bring an Amazon package, but they don't tell you how big it is.
Yeah.
I've had that before.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna order some Amazon to your address, and
yeah. But this has got to be a Bermudian thing, because I remember, like, I when I was living in Boston, I had a cousin ask me, "Can I get him some stuff?" So, again, I have no problem doing it, especially if it's not big stuff, right? Again, keep in mind my trips to Bermuda are usually short, right? Most is probably like 10 days, and that's not often. So it's usually like a week or less. Especially when I was like working with tourism. So I didn't really have my own time and had other things I had to pack. But let me give you some advice, folks, when you ask people to bring stuff back to you to Bermuda. Some advice. Friday Fun Day brought to by our friends at Mailboxes, don't forget. But please keep in mind, if they have to go to get it, they're using their gas, right? They're not just paying for it. It's not just the duty and the cost. They're doing you a favor. Because remember, we live here. We're not often at these places that you're asking us to go. So just be considerate. I just had to say that, because you will be asking some favors sometimes. And, you know, now, if it's an Amazon package, just keep in mind, I got to use my energy to go to the Amazon locker. All right? Keep that in mind. Tips are appreciated. Emmanuel John says certain chocolates that appear to be more available in Canada, eat more chocolates, or England, Cadbury chocolates. So, yeah, you know, I get that. And those are small things, though. Those are small things. Chicarena says Krispy Kreme donuts.
In the States or in Canada? I don't know. The ones in Canada, I just can't. I had it once. I did not like it.
You need to come down to the South. That's where Krispy Kreme's from, the South. I'm sure Sheikah lives in the South, I believe. That stuff melts in your mouth.
I wanted to like it so badly, but that store that I walked into, I was like, you know, when it hits you when you just smell sugar, and it's just like, sometimes it makes you either nauseous or whatever. I was like, crap, because I love a good donut. I love a good donut, Sheikah. I really do. That
stuff I stay away from. Man, don't get me started. I'm gonna tell a story and make me look real bad, but I'm just gonna tell you, I found one when I came to look for my new place, and I said, you know what? I'm not doing it when I move, and I haven't had it since I moved here. So, yeah.
Well, look, you gotta buy it to send to me there.
Well, I'll send you some. I'll say, oh, you can visit. I visited you, by the way. Anyway, yeah. Oh, yeah. Boom! Where's my button? Okay, that was a good one. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, no, I don't ask for anything because I don't want to add stress of traveling back home.
How kind.
That's a consideration. Renee Simmons says, if it's someone close family, if it's it used to be Red Lobster, shrimp, everything. I like the pineapple sauce since COVID. You used to ask people to bring you back Red Lobster? That's a luxury. That's not like donuts in an airport. You got some good families if they used to bring that for you. I'd have laughed at you.
Maybe the Red Lobster was in the airport, so it was like an easy in the bag thing. Can you imagine trying to pack that though?
That's what it had to be. And then like
you'd have to buy the Tupperware. Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's a travel.
Help me understand that.
Renee.
Mayola John says, I used to ask for Cinnabons if they're available at the airport. Yeah. You've started something with that Cinnabon thing.
Oh man, that Auntie Anne's. I remember the first time I had it, and it was like an awakening. It was so good. Yeah. So now it's like constant. I always have to grab it. If I'm in the airport, I will find it. I will hunt it down whatever airport that I have to transition over to get it.
Sniff it like one of those airport dogs, right? Yeah.
Honestly.
Taylor Dill says, don't ask people to bring anything back that you won't easily fit in a carry-on. No packages from IKEA without a negotiated courier for. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. If it don't fit in the carry-on, and when I say carry-on, I mean backpack, don't consider it done. Charles H. Duff says, and the hot sign is on, they are irresistible. He's talking about Krispy Kreme, and Suzanne Ingham says Krispy Kreme is very fast, extremely addictive. My aunt had one just down the street from her house in North Carolina. The South is the best. Yeah, it ain't no touching Krispy Kreme in the South, man.
All right, I will definitely do it again. I'll try it again. If I'm down your way, Joe, I will try it again. I promise you all, because I love a good donut. I promise.
Sherry and I taking my out on a date to Krispy Kreme. You gotta come, and I'm like, because I'm trying to get back on my health tip. All right, it's Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Folks, again, 2 years of free membership. Also, and you know what I'm gonna do? Because you all, I have to make it easy because I don't want you all doing extra work. So there's the link on our social media platforms to go to Mailboxes. If you don't have 2 years of if you're not a member yet, you can get 2 years of free membership on us. We're going to bring Teo Dillon for Daily Hour News Break. Don't forget, we've got Her Excellency, the Governor of Bermuda, Rena Lalgie, coming up after Teo gives us this news break. And I wonder what Teo's ever. What's the craziest thing? Okay, let's do this. What's the craziest thing you've ever asked or been asked to bring back to Bermuda? Think on it. Let's bring Teo in. I wonder what he's saying. An audience, let us know. What's the craziest thing you've asked someone to bring back for you, or you've been asked to bring back for someone?
Hey, y'all. Good to see you. Appreciate the question because I do have a good one. And this is true. You're not going to believe it, but it is absolutely true.
All right.
A mattress.
What?
A mattress for a bed.
No, nobody actually bring the mattress.
Yes, man. Got an argument about it and everything. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I can't drive. So I'm taking an Uber. Like, what you want me to order a pickup truck to like get from the Airbnb to no? And dude, we still ain't. We still don't talk like we used to ever since I told him no.
You said Airbnb, so this was recently.
No, I mean Airbnb has been honestly, I was early on the Airbnb tip. So this was
within the last 10 years.
No. This would have been 2010, 2011.
Okay, sounds about right.
Yeah. A mattress. Can you believe the audacity?
Teo.
I'm shocked.
Was it like a baby mattress?
No. Queen.
A queen.
Queen. So Teo, how were they expecting you to bring it back for them?
They didn't want to pay the courier fees because they're like, look, I know it'll be cheaper for you if you take it to the airport and it's below the weight. And that was the other thing. He didn't accept the fact that the dimensions were too large where they would, charge it a max, which was something like back then, like $150, $175 or whatever, which I didn't check, but I was super confident that if he just shipped it to the island, it would have been straight. Like he would have come out ahead. And when I gently broached the subject of getting like the negotiated courier fee that I talked about, he got salty with me more. Yeah, I'm glad we don't talk like we used to.
You know what? You know what? Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone can match that damn story you just shared. I don't even want
that level of audacity.
Craziest thing they've ever been asked to bring back because a mattress.
Like I want to fight. If we weren't on the phone, I wouldn't fight. Like, what do you think?
The only thing
our relationship is like.
The only thing that can top that is someone saying they were asked to bring back a vehicle.
Because that would be something. But a mattress tank? Madness.
It was an air mattress, right?
No. This is what I'm saying to you. Like,
go air mattresses.
That's go in your bedroom. Sit on the thing that you sleep on. That the thing that'll be under your backside. That
to get to the news. Like I'm not appreciating this. Good news.
No, see, look, I'm glad you're upset on my behalf. Now, all right, now this is a pretty significant tone shift. So yeah, let's get very serious. Another armed robbery took place yesterday morning in a West End gas station. According to the police, it all went down at Robinson's Marina in Somerset just after 6:30 a.m. when a person with a machete entered the station and demanded the staff give him money. Now, the staff did hand over a quantity of cash, which the suspect took and escaped via Somerset Bridge headed towards Hog Bay Park. The suspect is described as about 6 feet tall, slim, wearing dark clothing, white sneakers, and a full-face helmet. An investigation is now underway, and anybody with any information that can help solve this crime is asked to contact DC Patricia Jeffers on 515-2439, pjeffers@bps.bm, or the CIT at 247-1744.
You know what's crazy about that story is we live in a WhatsApp era where we share everything. I heard nothing about that story.
Well, I think that because I had a similar thought as well. Like, it was surprising that it wasn't already bubbling in the social media universe. But I think it's because we're all so inured to these things happening. Like like nobody was shot, nobody was shot at. So it's not really that interesting, which is obscene.
I'll tell you, I've shared this story on the show before. I remember my nana back in it had to be the late 80s, early 90s, probably late 80s. And if one of my family members are tuned in, a school student must have stole her purse or something. That was like top story.
Well, I mean, I would think so back then.
Yeah, top story. You see how things have changed, right?
Yeah, man.
We're not even talking about a serious crime like that.
Yeah.
You say it was 6 feet?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I remember reporting something as well. Or you reported something where someone else was like quite tall as well who did something similar.
Word.
And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, I was like, 6 feet something was like, that's fairly tall for
For
someone.
Bermuda.
Yeah, for Bermuda. I was like, that's really tall. Like that's an
That's
unusual height.
Check the journalist actually doing some investigative stuff for the police. I'm joking, but I'm saying no, seriously, that's a good pickup because I'm oblivious to stuff, honestly.
Maya the PI. Gotta give a new nickname. In more positive news, thankfully, the 2023 Butterfield Bermuda Championship dumped $17.7 million into Bermuda's economy. This from the KPMG Economic Impact Report commissioned by the Bermuda Tourism Authority. You can find it to look over yourself on the BTA's website. One of the key highlights, according to the BTA, is that the Gulf event helped to boost our year-round tourism assets, with a spokesperson sharing that nearly 20% of the spectators were from overseas, which is up from 14% in 2022, which means there's an increased global interest and positioning of Bermuda as a premier Gulf destination. So shout out to that.
Woo.
That's cool. That's cool. That's getting more.
I think it is. But Jay's cynicism about all of it is just delicious.
I'm curious about how much money is put into it, though. Like, obviously, since they did most of it last year, hopefully less was put in this year. And so it's actually generating even a larger income. This thing just traveling through my brain.
Let me
I don't know.
explain my cynicism. All I'm simply saying is what Charles H. Jeffers II in the audience has said for years, as well as myself, is I'm sick and tired of governments and accounting firms telling me how much money the economic impact when people are struggling the way they are. The economic impact is not something that you will tell me about. It's something that the people will feel. I'll leave it.
No, that's a good way to put it. And other good-ish news, I guess, we're almost at the end of the 2024 hurricane season, but we ain't done yet. The next system that's likely to develop is going to be called Tropical Storm Patty, and it could swing in our general direction sometime late next week. As you can see in this footage, that big swirling patch of orangey red behind and below Florida, it's got the opportunity to track towards the island. Now, this could end up being the result of a Central American gyre, or a CAG. It's a broad zone of weak spin over Central America and the Caribbean. Now, they're normally not that much of a thing, but when they bump into thunderstorm complexes, the two ingredients can consolidate, tighten, and organize into a named storm. And if Tropical Storm Patty is coming, she's going to get it together close to Halloween. So just keep listening, keep watching. We'll keep you informed about Patty's development.
Okay. One thing, man, I feel like I learned something when I look at those graphs like those. It makes me feel scientific.
No, I know what you mean. Like, Maya might be too young for this, but Jay, you remember? No, this is not a diss. It's only a diss of us because we're old.
No.
You remember that period when those 3D pictures, like that you could, like posters you could put on your wall, where a whole thing we had to like cross your eyes and uncross them to see it.
Yep.
Like, whenever looking at these satellite maps, I find myself like doing the same thing, and I don't know why. It's something about how they look or feel. It's very strange.
They're different.
Yeah. Well, another big publication, like big time, that we all know has given us some love online via the new Essence.com piece written by an author called Shelby Stewart. It's called An Artsy Girl's Guide to Bermuda. And the piece focuses on October status as Art Month. It's a pretty comprehensive and complimentary breakdown of the history, cultural relevance, and overall value of local art and artists. And it's really worth a read. The passage is especially cool. This one, I thought, quote, Bermuda's solidarity with the global Black community is evident in the way the island reflects shared experiences of Blackness, mirroring the struggles and triumphs seen across the African diaspora. So, yeah, it's really worth a read. If you just Google Essence Bermuda Artsy, it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Oh, and I forgot it was Art Month. Maya, you didn't mention it was Art Month in Bermuda for October?
I don't think I did mention it earlier this month. I was definitely watching up on stuff. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, guys. I'm sorry.
Not like Maya. Maya's busy, man. See, the Olympics knocked her out. I'm telling you. She's back now, though. She's back.
There was a no. Go ahead, man.
Sorry, because I knew that Jade Givens, Queendom Heights, she had an opening just the other day. I think it was like maybe less than a week ago. She had an opening. A lot of close friends of ours and family went to that, and yeah. It's been a lot going on. I mean, the VTA puts out a calendar as well with stuff, but I mean, Art Month, Art Year. I live in the art space, so it's always there. But yeah.
You live an art life. So, month, art life. That's where it's at. Now, that said about the Essence.com piece, there was another recent story from a globally relevant news org about Bermuda that is much, 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 much less nice for us to read. Or at least I think so. I can prove it. Just look at the pictures from the piece. The Financial Times, for some reason, published an article about the universal and infinite appeal of Bermuda shorts. But these are the pictures they use to illustrate the point. I don't even like Bermuda shorts like that. But this is ridiculous. These are not Bermuda shorts. It's like a kilt that's kind of tucked in between the dude's legs.
No, but hold on. They ain't Bermuda shorts, but they are funny.
That's true. I did laugh. But the last one was they made a callback to Pharrell Williams in 2014 when he went to the Oscars red carpet, when he blended a Lanvin tuxedo and classic Bermuda shorts. And now that was fly. But the other ones, like, I don't know who that's supposed to be for. I'm a little insulted. Yeah, you go. Exactly.
I looked at those pictures. I don't know if you guys, because I'm a big 18th century fan. Do you guys ever watch Pride and Prejudice? Because that's what it was giving me. Like that century.
A little bit.
I'm like, that's not us. That's not really us.
Yeah. And I know that the culture is all about throwback and nostalgia, but not 18th century stuff. Like we go to the 80s, bro. Like not 1856.
Not me.
Yeah. Well, weather-wise, today's wind and rain are due, because I don't know if y'all felt it already, but it's been a little wet overnight. It's due to the slowly departing patch of low pressure, which should be out of our airspace by tomorrow morning. So the weekend should be pretty close to gorgeous. We're talking lots of sun, gentle breeze, air temps in mid-70s, etc. So if you want to make a last-ditch run to the beach, this will be a good week to do it.
All righty. Maya, you got a days of the year for us?
Oh yeah, days of the year. Okay, so today is National Breakfast Day, guys. I lied. It's actually National Breadstick Day. Breadstick Day. So soft or crunchy, plain or cheesy, eaten on their own or enjoyed with a dip of red sauce. So enjoy it as an appetizer. But breadsticks are pretty popular, especially something you have before dinner or after, or even just pick up.
You just said with or without cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because people like teasing me because I eat pizza without cheese. So I'm basically breadstick. Huh?
Breadsticks are typically without cheese, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, I only see people with bread cheese. Anyway, this ain't about me. This ain't about me. We got the governor coming on. We got more important people to talk to. All right. But real quickly, before we go to break. Teo, have you and your wife filled out the Daily Hour survey? As of
I did. I'm not sure if she has, but I did.
Oh, okay.
You'll be bugger about it,
Mrs. Dill. You getting called out?
But we just throw right underneath the bus there. I did. I
did. No. But look,
I had a spot on the couch the second week in a row.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I wasn't intended like that. It's just I know she's busy. Like I know she's productive and accomplished, and this is, as important as it is, it's not top line priority. I'm just saying for her.
Mrs. Dill, don't be serious. I'm like the Don King of relationships. I will, got a fight going. All right, don't mind me. All right, Tay, Thanks so much, bro. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, y'all.
All righty. Deal, folks. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 1:58 with Her Excellency, the Governor, Rena Lalgie. You don't want to miss this conversation. She is set to depart Bermuda soon. We're going to miss her smile. We really are. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show, Maya Palacio. I am Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Wells, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Please do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. I want to share something real quickly before I bring Her Excellency in. So yesterday I was emailed by someone from her office to just confirm everything. And the person wrote, he will da 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 da. So I'm like, you mean she, right? Not he. Said, no, I meant he, as in Her Excellency. I was like, oh my goodness, Jamal, that was one of those moments, boy. I said, I didn't know the acronym at the time. You know, I'm thinking like gender. And I was like, that was one of those moments you just showed what bus you rode on, boy.
Hey, well, you learn something new every day. But
anyway, audience, give a warm TDH welcome to Her Excellency, the Governor of Bermuda, Rena Lalgie. Morning, Governor. How are you?
Morning. I'm well. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. You didn't judge me just now, did you?
No, actually, I was thinking that not knowing the acronym HE is not really a big issue. And you would be surprised just how long it took for people to stop writing letters to His Excellency. So I lots of things actually that I'd receive, which would be, "Dear His Excellency," the kind of thing. So look, you are not alone. That's hardly the best.
This is why we appreciate you making me feel better.
But I think that also goes to speak about just like how that acronym has been in place for long, because it's always been men as well. So it's never been like a confusion, at least in Bermuda. And now that you're the first woman, it's just like now people kind of notice it a little bit more and realize that it might mean something else that they thought it did.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true, because had it been a man governor, I wouldn't have asked, right? So yeah. All right. Well, first off, thanks once again for doing this. We appreciate you. It's been a while. You graced us with your presence when you first started on the job, which was crazy time in itself. But can you do us a favor? Because I still think today many of my fellow Bermudians don't even really understand the role of the position itself. Just explain the role of the governor in Bermuda.
So the role of the governor in Bermuda is set out in the Constitution, which is the 1968 Constitution for Bermuda, and it specifies some powers and responsibilities that sit with the governor. So that includes defence, internal security, policing, and external affairs. And there are a number of really specific responsibilities that flow from that, like making appointments, being responsible for the conduct of some of the people that are appointed by the governor. And so there are some very explicit responsibilities that are all set out in the Constitution. And then I often think that there is something in the spirit of the Constitution, which sets out quite an important role for the governor of Bermuda, and that the kind of key takeaways for me there are around good governance. Mm-hmm. And the separation of power, which in most kind of democracies happens in lots of different ways. The way in which it works in the UK, the US, other overseas territories, vastly different. But there is that kind of principle that not all power responsibility authorities are kind of in one office or one individual is a really important principle within a kind of democracy. And so that's, I think, very much in the spirit, and is probably in the area that people have raised questions most. But there is lots that in Bermuda as one of them. Bermuda is often described as one of the most self-governing of the overseas territories, and that is because there are so many delegations even in those areas, mm-hmm. which where over time responsibilities have been delegated to the elected government and specific ministers in some instances. So policing is the obvious one that stands out.
Indeed, and thank you for that. Thank you, and I hope that answers a lot of questions right there. Very in depth, but concise. And if you have any questions or comments for the governor, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. I mentioned when you first came in, pretty much you landed almost in a pandemic. Mm-hmm.
Quite literally.
Yeah, it was.
Since COVID, I always say to people, that's when I got here. Yeah,
right. And I think even going through that, people didn't necessarily understand the role of the office. But in terms of, it's not just you. And we have to humanize you, right? Because people just see people as their title. You have a family, right? What was that experience like? Not just as the governor in the position as the representative of the UK, but even for your family making this big change, coming to this island, and it's a pandemic. Like you can't. It was something that experienced every few generations.
So, I mean, I think it's like everything. I can definitely look back and see some silver linings within it. But I picked up my family and moved them out here to Bermuda with two. My children were 7 and 10 when we arrived on the island, and so actually, in some ways, I think there was a bit that was a bit easier because we had not spent much time with family for the best part of the year in 2020. Mm-hmm. They had not been at school, and so sort of being kind of separated from their community, which we were really, really embedded within, mm-hmm. was a lot easier in that sense. But this was a hard job to come to do and to arrive to do in the middle of a pandemic, because so much around the sort of the role and the way in which the governor has traditionally interacted with the community and supported the community in Bermuda is around the convening power, and that has just wasn't possible, and actually wasn't possible for a considerable period of time. I think it also changed, and this is one thing that people have often reflected to me, it changed the nature of my arrival as well. Mm-hmm. And so I was got there, and again, I can definitely see the silver lining in that. But as the governor, I was sworn in with 3-4 people in the room. Mm-hmm. My mother, my husband, my 2 children, on this really momentous day for me as an individual, but also more widely, were upstairs not able to be in the room to kind of witness me being sworn in as the governor of Bermuda. And so it does, in that sense, I think it was quite different. It does mean that I was sworn in outside of the ceremonial uniform, which is definitely something that probably I look back on and I'm grateful for not having sort of on day one, morning one, to step in and out in the uniform.
So thinking about just your time here in Bermuda, what have you actually enjoyed most about your position on the island?
So I've really enjoyed being able to meet with people across the community and to try and get some insight into kind of what they would like the governor to be doing, what they'd like me as the governor to be doing. And therefore, I've had a really good opportunity to be able to think about how sort of putting the sort of legislative work to one side, putting the kind of executive functions to one side, to really be able to think about some of the communities who would kind of welcome the support of the governor, but also welcome the support from me as governor as well. And so in that sense, I have most enjoyed some of the opportunities to be able to think about how we open up Government House as a space to be utilised by people who are sort of are wanting to either hold events, to be able to have a platform, because the convening power of the governor, both within Bermuda and more widely, is really not to be understated. But so much of it is rooted, as I say, in terms of gatherings. So things around being able to have sporting events on Government House grounds, to be able to bring some of the communities who have not really engaged with each other together, and to be able to think about that. And so I've done some of that around the music community as well on the island, and brought some of the different groups together to think about how they might be able to work more together, and also hosted lots of events on the grounds.
Indeed.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that there was sports being played on the grounds.
So I think one of the favourites, we've had charity events in terms of closest to the pins on the North Shore lawn. The Fat Tire Massive came up and did one of their just kind of races on the grounds, which was absolutely brilliant. I mean, we had hundreds of people from kind of kids on their kind of balance bikes, right the way through to kind of Commonwealth Games athletes who did the tour around. And to be honest, I thought that would be a bit of a novelty for people, that it was just going to be for because we know Bermuda has a really, really kind of active cycling community. And I thought that was going to be an absolute novelty for them, that it was just an opportunity to come up to Government House. And instead, seeing people going, actually, this is quite tough. I hadn't realized how hilly it was. Like, this is a tough course. And so over the next month, we've got, particularly given the work that's going on at the Arboretum, there are going to be some cross-country events that happen up on the grounds of Government Houses as well. Obviously, I can't use the building, but the grounds, we can still think about how we utilise that.
See, I was going to stay away from the building thing, but real quickly, just jumping in real quickly. I remember when I was young, they used to have like equestrian events on the North Shore side up there. I don't know how long ago was that, but audience, I don't want to date myself, but we used to do that.
So they're absolutely, and the equestrian is kind of a touchy subject in the equestrian community, because they've been kind of mentioning it, had reached out, and I'd said, yeah, let's make it happen, and let's do it. And then I think sort of many of the other sporting communities have made it up. Other than the kind of Queen's Baton Relay event, we actually haven't had that group up at all back at Government House, but they are most welcome still. And but yeah, I think that it's traditionally there were lots of events that would be held on the grounds. They're still utilised a lot by the kind of gardening community as well, and a real opportunity to be able to think about how we can do that more. We've had kind of multi-faith events up there, which has allowed a number of different faith communities to be able to come together and worship on the grounds as well. It's been absolutely brilliant. And things like the eco clubs, working with the Bermuda National Trust and some of the events, so there's an eco club that happens up at Government House now. Sort of, it was every 2 weeks. It now is, I think, currently weekly, and they are utilising the Slat House there, doing amazing work. And there's a really diverse group of young people who are coming up every week, working with the BNT up there.
I feel like I've been living under a rock.
Yeah, I didn't know that the grounds are being used for so many things.
It's been, look, I mean, I think there is so much that happens here in Bermuda. And you asked me about the pandemic. I think one of the really tough things around that was it really changed and restricted, like it did in all sorts of walks of life, changed and restricted what we could do. And many of the things that we did traditionally have not been possible anymore. But it really, spending probably, I think, maybe I would say the first 18 months or so of my tenure was affected by kind of COVID in terms of what was possible in different ways. And then, being able to having such a long period where we couldn't utilize the kind of venue, but the kind of Government House as a building itself to be able to convene has made it tough. But hopefully that has given us an opportunity to really think about the things we want to continue to do and things that we might be some of the opportunities to innovate as well.
Indeed.
Nice. Well, I know you just talked about all of those amazing things that are happening on the grounds, but can you give us an example of maybe a standout accomplishment for yourself in this role?
So, look, there are definitely days where it kind of my objective and my kind of sense of achievement comes from survival. But when I look back over the period of time in its entirety, I think finding there is really something that is quite important in the job, which is about ensuring that the Constitution is upheld. And so some of the kind of serious pieces around the job, which are never particularly nice, but thinking about ensuring that the kind of governor's role in ensuring and raising issues around integrity in public office, and also around accountability in public office has been something I feel particularly proud of. I'm not sure what sort of, what history will say about it, or what Bermudians will say, what the stories that will be told about that going forward. But I'm particularly proud of that because it is not the nice part of the job, but it is absolutely essential. And it is, that is certainly something. I think actually the conversation we're having is quite interesting to me. I think it's really struck me in my time that there is not as much understanding around the role of the governor, given the importance that it plays within the kind of system of governance on the island. It's really quite surprising to me, and I think for various reasons, people have raised more questions about the role of the governor, whether that is the kind of what Bermuda wants going forward, but also raise questions about kind of how someone becomes the governor. Whilst in some instances, undoubtedly, that's kind of rooted, the driver for those questions is not necessarily a positive thing. As someone who believes in open democracies, who wants people to be engaged in how their society and their political systems work, it is a really important thing for me, actually, to have been able to just shine a light a bit more on the extent to which the governor plays a role through the Constitution in Bermuda at the moment, and to dispel some of those myths about the fact that the governor is purely ceremonial.
I did see a comment in the questions there, but there's a question for you asking, after the new governor is sworn in, what's going to be next for you? What are your next goals?
So I'm heading home, and so I'm looking forward to being back in the UK and being back in London, closer to family and friends for a while. That feels really important after what feels like the best part of kind of 5 years, once you add kind of COVID before we came out. And so I'm looking forward to kind of thinking about and preparing for what lies ahead. And I know that I'll take a lot of Bermuda with me as I go forward.
When is your final day? When is your term actually up?
I haven't booked my flight yet.
Oh, okay. She's staying, folks.
I haven't booked my flight yet, but I'm really conscious that I need to get on with that because, if not, I'll end up on some really convoluted route through the United States. 2 stops en route between here and London.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Very fun question, and I think you should give it to us. I want to see if you can give it to us. She's asking, have you been able to learn a Bermudian accent? She wants to hear you speak like a Bermudian.
Most definitely not. I am not going to disrespect Bermuda in this way at this stage by attempting to speak with a Bermudian accent. But I'm confident I can understand, though, and that I think is definitely a step forward.
Yeah, Charles Jeffers says, Her Excellency has been the most engaging governor in my lifetime. Wish you and your family all the best and hope that you will remain connected to Bermuda. In saying that, your children are, they're 5 years older, so probably like 14 and 11 now. That's an interesting age to spend in a different culture. How do they feel about leaving?
So I think they are excited about a sort of life afterwards. There are lots of opportunities that come from being the daughters of the children of the governor, but I think they are definitely looking forward to the kind of freedom that will come afterwards. So I think that as well is probably something from them, but they are looking forward to being back in. Well, they're back in the UK already, but being able to, when they come home, to have the kind of the spread of the diversity of kind of food that they can eat in a city like London, the shops that they can go to, and also we are a family who really enjoy the arts and culture, and being able to, that has been a great part of being in Bermuda, because for such a small place, there is so much on offer and so many options to engage with the sporting communities, but also with the arts as well. But London is London, so they are, and I am of course biased on this point, but they are looking forward to being back in the inner cities.
All righty. I've got a question from Samurai Sky. He's asking, why did the governor not sign off on the marijuana legislation put forward by the government? I've heard mixed stories on the topic. Also, what must happen beforehand / I guess referendum for the governor to sign off on any new legislation going forward?
So really, really important question. I think this was one of those moments that I was alluding to earlier, in terms of, I think that was a moment in time where people sort of stopped and went, hold on, sorry, the governor does what and can, and why is that? And that's really sparked a debate, which I thought was a healthy thing to have in a democratic society such as Bermuda. So the decision that I made as governor was about whether to assent to the legislation, and the Constitution guides me through that process in each instance. Options being to assent, to withhold assent, or to refer it to Her Majesty. The Constitution says. So those are the three options, and I decided that, acting in my own discretion, which is what the Constitution calls on the governor to do in these instances and in others, to refer it, because it was not, on my understanding of it, my reading of the draft legislation, it was not in keeping with the international obligations that sit on Bermuda and the UK, and so referred it through to the UK for Her Majesty, as was then Her Majesty's signification through the Secretary of State. And it was that decision that came back with an instruction for me. There are really narrow instances in Bermuda's constitution where the governor is instructed by a minister or secretary of state in the UK, and this is one of them. And it was because in instances where international obligations are a question, that's one, and there are also some specified other areas in which legislation, for the most part, I sign an assent to legislation that comes through and across my desk after it's been through the House of Assembly and the Senate. And in most instances, it doesn't really call on the governor to make a decision because it is out with the responsibilities of the governor, and so in that instance the signification is quite ceremonial, I suppose, in the system. But it was engaged because of the international obligations, and that was the reason for the decision. It wasn't because of my personal views, my political views. It wasn't because I wanted to pick a fight. It was genuinely based on the my interpretation of the international obligations and whether that would contravene it. That was why I made the decision, and it was a conversation that we'd been having for quite some time leading up to the draft bill making its way through to me.
Okay. It's interesting because I actually forgot you had overseen that. And I appreciate that question because I honestly didn't understand it at the time either. And it helped me understand a bit more of, it's not about the personal feelings or the political position. And I think that was the part that the majority of the public had to understand. Suzanne Ingham says you're the first governor that interacts online with people Facebook, which is like, maybe I don't interact you go on Facebook like that?
I don't have a Facebook account. I never have done. We do have a Government House Facebook account, but this is, I have to say, social, and we do try to put out as much as we can through that platform to give people a sense of what is happening. I think this is probably one of the things that is definitely, for me personally, and also for the office, a work in progress in terms of being able to use social media to kind of shine a light on some of the activities a bit more. It's not something I'm particularly good at or kind of inclined towards, but I do like watching what other people are doing on online and being able to get a sense of the views on particular issues. So in that sense, I've stepped into the social media frame so that I can see what people are thinking and feeling about a whole range of subjects. But I'm really poor at kind of posting things out.
We understand. Charles H. Jeffs II. You kind of didn't allude to this earlier, but kind of Bermudians about the position of governor and how they feel about it and the like. But independence is a big topic in Bermuda. It's been one. It doesn't seem like the majority of the Bermudians want it. But do you have any thoughts on it?
My thought is that it's not for me. As Rena or as governor, I think that's really a question for the people of Bermuda. And so that a decision around what the constitutional relationship with the UK should be, I think, is for Bermudians. And equally, I think the questions around Bermuda's constitution and reforming it, which I think often we end up in, anytime anybody mentions constitutional reform, people hear independence, but there is a kind of a realm of constitutional reform which might not change fundamentally the constitutional relationship between the UK and Bermuda. So I don't have a view to express other than to say that it really is a matter for the people of Bermuda, and that has been something that has been the successive UK governments of both political parties have very much been in a place for decades now, which says it is for the people of each territory to make that decision and to determine what relationship they have and what the future looks like. So the bit that I find most difficult is that sort of narrative that almost says the kind of either the UK, which is inherited partly in that question actually, but that the UK is either trying to kind of push inhabited territories towards independence, or is somehow trying to kind of hold on against the will of the people, and it just couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, Maya, you got questions? I see you.
Oh yeah, so going back a little bit more to the earlier question then about the marijuana legislation, someone actually did pose just a little bit more clarity. What does the international obligations mean?
So there are UN conventions which are in place, which the UK and by extension Bermuda are subject to, which talks about the circumstances in which cannabis can be legal, and most of those are for around sort of medical purposes and for research purposes as well. Sort of legalization for sort of recreational use, for sort of general use, goes beyond the constraints of the UN obligations. I think the bit that is worth separating is decriminalisation, which is a process that many other jurisdictions have already been through, and actually Bermuda has as well, which is not suggesting, as has been in the past in Bermuda and has been and was in the past in the UK as well, sort of possession of small quantities for personal use is not something that sort of that goes through the kind of criminal justice system in that way. And those changes were made prior to my arrival, and many other territories are still trying to go through that process that Bermuda has already been through. But I don't have the legislation in front of me right now. But to be able to kind of quote, if that was a question where I was supposed to kind of quote the specific paragraphs from within, then I won't attempt to do that.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you for that, though. So Charles H. Jeffords is asking, do you think we will ever see a Bermudian governor appointed by the UK government?
So it's an interesting question, and actually the appointment processes, I think, really should consider sort of what people's ability to be able to do the job. And I always find it quite interesting that, of course, Bermudians are British nationals, and so I think it is not something that I would say I can't see. I could definitely see it happening, assuming within that, I don't know how long we will continue to have the current arrangement that we have in place, but it is something that I think is in theory possible. I think the important question will be, as it always is the extent to which someone can kind of separate themselves and make some of the decisions that can be made, and that's a question that isn't determined by kind of where you were born or sort of how you come to be British.
Alrighty. One last question from the audience. Charles H. Jeffs II. He was just asking, while Her Majesty has in the past apologized for slavery, do you think the UK government would even ever consider reparations for the descendants of enslaved people in overseas territories?
So first of all, is Charles got a sort of direct line here? Is this the sort of what is this? I'm sorry, Charles, we can talk. Look, a really important topic, and one which is very much playing out as a debate across the Commonwealth, literally as we speak, as heads of governments are gathered in Samoa. And so I was certainly sat on the sofa last night with trying to get the kids to come in to be able to listen to some of the coverage around this discussion, because I think it's been going on for some time. And at the moment, the discussions that are happening at CHOGM, as these meetings are referred to, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made comments precisely on reparatory justice and the extent to which his position at the moment as the government is that there is a kind of openness to discussing non-financial options around that. And so I think this is a debate that's going to continue. It's at the heart of some of the discussions that happen within the Commonwealth as part of the kind of impact of climate change, of global financial systems. This debate is really going to continue. But it's quite healthy that we are having the discussion. But the reality is that His Majesty the King made a point which kind of sounds quite like stating the obvious, but the history is something we cannot change.
Okay, I know you've got to go, but this audience is engaging. They like you if they're asking questions.
But I feel like I lowered the tone because I was listening to the discussion earlier, and now we've ended up with this doesn't feel so much like Fun Friday anymore.
Right? It's changed, and I didn't even get to ask you what's the craziest thing you've asked somebody to bring you from the UK to Bermuda, right? Now you gotta share that with us before we go. So I'm gonna give you time to think.
Okay, so so definitely my instinct was food. And so particularly some of those, I suppose for me, it's some of the creature comforts. I like being able to have access to chocolate from the UK, Europe more widely, because I'm not so sure about the kind of American recipes, even for the brands that exist on both sides of the Atlantic. But probably the one that really, when you were having this discussion earlier, that stuck with me was, I will, if I've got family coming over, I will often kind of order some hair products or something to their house to bring over when with friends or family are coming over. And I remember it was probably a year or two ago watching a court case, which and reading about a court case with someone who was charged and convicted with importing drugs, and the message had been that that she'd drawn suspicion because she was carrying sort of hair products and cosmetics in her luggage, which are widely available on island, and why would anyone do that? And I remember sort of looking at this kind of going, so maybe I'm not alone.
Wow, that is funny. I want to share something because it's kind of fun. So on the left, it's a picture of me tagging the governor in 1980 something, and on the right, it's the picture you took with my niece up at the National Sports Center a couple of years ago. And to this day, that picture made her day. She's now 11, but we speak about you being engaged in and out in the public, and we haven't really touched on this during this conversation, but I remember when Barack Obama became the president of the United States, I heard a journalist say that this is the first time that little Black boys and Black people in particular can actually see someone in a position like this and believe that they too can be in that position. Regardless of what people feel about the position, you are the first woman and the first Black person to actually fill that position. What do you think that, how do you feel? Do you even feel like it's a role where you feel like you have to use it to inspire others to actually aspire that you too can do this? Like, what are your thoughts on the responsibility of that?
So I feel the responsibility, and it's not why I came or why I applied. But I do feel the responsibility, and to me it is important to be able to contribute to this sense that there isn't a space where we can't be, where you feel like you can't, whatever it is that makes you whether it's an actual minority or from a kind of where it wasn't written, nobody assumes that this would be the kind of thing that you do, that there isn't I want people to believe that there isn't a room they can't occupy, there isn't an office they can't occupy, or a position they can't occupy by virtue of their gender, their sex, by virtue of their kind of race or ethnic background. And so I felt through the time the responsibility to be able not just to do that and to engage with people and to be able to have more personal discussions about what that means, but also I just, every time someone said at the start that I was the first, the immediate thing that went through my mind was, I just don't want to be the last. Like, I don't want to be the reason that people use to say that someone like me couldn't occupy this office going forward, because so much of it has been gendered, so much of the role of the governor, so much of the way in which people interact with the governor, the way in people interact with the governor's spouse has been gendered, and I think that's tough. And I think there's a conversation in Bermuda around gender, not just in terms of safety and freedom from violence, but also around where the kind of opportunities exist. And I just didn't want to kind of come be the first and then be the explanation that everyone uses to say, well, that's precisely why you can't have a woman in that office, or that's precisely why you can't have black person who occupies the office of governor, not in Bermuda anyway.
Yeah, and that leads to this last question from the audience. Linguistics translation says, like, yeah, all this, yeah, whatever. What of your legacy would you pass on to the incoming governor?
So I will share some of the kind of benefit of my experience, and I will hand over. Whenever you leave an office like this, there is work that is undone, and so I will do everything I can to aid a smooth transition. But I also think there is something of an opportunity when you do have a change in governor or in others, not to have someone who then doesn't come in with any kind of preconceptions around it. So there are definitely some things that I will hold my counsel on, but for the most part, I will be doing everything I can to ensure a smooth transition and to ensure that some of the important work that I will have started but not finish is able to continue.
Okay. Final message to the people of Bermuda.
I am grateful for the welcome that I have received, and support that I have received as well, and for the opportunity to serve. And that is not actually the sort of I would have served as the governor because the late Queen Elizabeth II appointed me to, but that would not have necessarily allowed me to serve the people unless there was consent and an invitation to be able to serve. And those are the days that I've been most happy, the moments where I've and sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing you're called upon to do, but where I have had the opportunity to truly serve the people of Bermuda, that is something that I will be eternally grateful for.
Indeed. Governor Lalgie, thank you so much for providing us the opportunity to have this conversation with you on this platform. Thank you for the work. A pandemic. We didn't even mention you became one of the most popular governors in the history of Bermuda because you gave the people a holiday. Yeah, they love holidays. They love holidays when you gave them. Comments on Twitter. Don't worry.
Well, thank you for having me back as well, and also for pronouncing my name correctly.
Oh, I got it this time. Trust me. I've been going and pronouncing it. So yeah, it took me a work. I told you I wasn't on the same bus as everyone else, but thank you.
No, I think you were. now you're in a minority.
I appreciate your humor. Thank you. So have a wonderful time.
Bye.
See you soon. Talk soon.
Bye.
All right, Governor Lalgie, thank you so much, folks. If you appreciated that conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Don't go anywhere. We've got the Daily Play coming up, and also, we're gonna do the hashtag giveaway thing to add another name in there to see who can compete. We'll give our final thoughts after that as well. So stick with us. We'll be back in about a minute, 15 seconds, I think. Yeah.
The Mailboxes team aren't just employees of Bermuda's Best Shipping Company. They're also your neighbors, and neighbors help each other.
Where my childhood was found.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Governor Rena Lalgie for stopping by for the conversation this morning. If you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. As always, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience. Maya, it's a sports one. I just pulled it out. Top question. It's sport related. So let's hope. One. All right. She might need your help, audience. All right, Maya. What do you call the area that is normally used for the first stroke of each hole on a golf course?
What do you call the area that's used? Say again?
What do you call the area that is normally used for the first stroke of each hole on a golf course?
It's not. The thing is called a birdie, right? I have no idea. I don't play golf at all, and I don't know golf that well.
Shamari told everyone.
Tee.
It's tee. Yeah.
That's what the place is called where you hit it from. It's called the tee.
Yeah. You tee off. That's what they say. My tee.
Oh, okay. I know that phrase, but I didn't know that's what the area was called.
Yeah. You learn something
okay.
every day.
There you go.
That was the first one picked up.
Never known that.
No trick. I ain't tricker. And it fell in line with somebody mentioned golf this morning in the news too. So yeah, it's the tee. So we'll enter Shamari in the lineup as well. And let's do the hashtag giveaway. Let's do a hashtag giveaway because you all have been great. You know, you've been all right today. Actually, today's winner, if you haven't filled out the daily hour survey, you're not getting a prize, by the way. You got to fill out the survey to get a prize. But we've got Renee Simmons, Shawnette Bell, and Shamari Talbot. So let's see who's going to join them. So let's make that screen. Let's add it. And while they're doing their while they're adding their hashtags, Maya, let's give our final thoughts on Friday Fun Day and then the conversation with Her Excellency. What are your final thoughts?
I love that we are all very consistent on wanting food to be brought back to us from different places. That's very universal Bermuda thing to get something that we don't normally have here at home. I think Tara's story about the mattress was that was madness. But in terms of having a governor, Miss Lalgie here on the show, that was incredible, and I'm so grateful that she took the time to speak to us and speak to the audience and answer important questions, vital questions that people really need to know the answer of, and just flush out some more information so we feel a lot more informed of either just her role or even new legislation that did come through as well. So her taking the time and opportunity was great. Getting to actually be around her at the Olympics, because she did go out there to the Paris guys, that was also really good to have her family supporting Bermuda and being there as well as the governor and giving a lot of support to the athletes in terms of encouraging them for coming from such a small nation on such a huge stage. So great person. I know that everyone probably agrees with having governance and things on the island, but all in all, I think she's a great person.
Indeed. Thank you for that. I'd say Friday Fun Day. I enjoyed it. I don't mind bringing stuff back for people. I just want people to be considerate when asking people. Just be very considerate. I know myself. I try not to ask people to bring stuff back. That doesn't mean I don't want people to, ask me. If you really need something, reach out. I am back and forth in Bermuda, but just be considerate, especially when I'm not there long. That said, I love the fact that we do bring things back, but I think before Teo's crazy story about a mattress, I'm still not up with the Red Lobster thing. Was it Renee? I'm still not understanding that.
You gotta explain it for us,
Renee. I'm not understanding Red Lobster. Now I get the Big Mac, I get the donuts, I get the onions, but the Red Lobster. You got to help me out on that one, Renee. But I appreciate you all. It definitely seems like a very unique Bermudian thing because there are so many things outside of Bermuda that we don't get to experience regularly, and having that we love to travel on the East Coast, quick trips here and there, it makes sense. All right, so as far as the governor, it's interesting. I think once you talk to her, she is really, really a very nice person. I don't think the issue people have is with the person, it's probably the position. People have very strong opinions about Bermuda's relationship with the UK and the King's representative now, and the like. And I get it. It's funny because Chris Famous, MP Famous, always, and he probably still does it, used to go on about soldier and regiment and this and that. And I'm just like, how is someone so pro Bermuda not understand that this is pro UK, right? And my point in saying that is, I think we don't own our hypocrisy. We don't own our hypocrisy, and I think it's unfair to put our feelings on individuals because of how we feel about the establishment. She's here just doing her job based on what the Constitution tells us. It's not about her feeling or political position, and I think that's the biggest thing we need to understand about the position of governor. It's a diplomatic position. It's not a political position. That sounds strange when you're talking about a governor, right? But we are what we are. We are a territory of the UK, and it seems Bermudians are comfortable with that. It's our choice. You heard what she said. All right. So, Maya, we've got to do a hashtag giveaway.
All right.
I don't want to do it like that. I don't want to do it. I want to do it like this. I want to do it like that. All right. Put it right between us. All right. Let's see who's going to be. All right. Where's the drum roll? Let's see. Who's going in the cup this week? Oops. Who's going in the cup this week? All right. I hope Sherilyn's filled out the what's it called?
The survey.
Yeah. All right. Let's put Sherilyn in there. So we got Renee twice, Shawnette, Shamari, and Sherry. A lot of S names this week. Who you put your money on, Maya?
I'm gonna go with Shawnette.
Okay. Well, see, Maya, you gave me luck at the casino when we went to Vegas. But the odds are in favor of Renee since she's in there twice. So let's see. Renee. Folks, I promise you, I'm gonna get a better way of doing this. I promise you. But right now,
these days,
enjoy the old-fashioned way. Enjoy the old-fashioned way. All right. All right, here we go. Shake it up and down. Let's see, who's it gonna be? All right.
You know full well your hair can't have I don't know why you use that.
No, so I just get, who's it gonna be? It's gonna be. All right. It's Renee. See, went with the odds. Congratulations to you. Yeah, Renee, send us an email. I want to say this to the audience real quickly, and I know it's Friday Fun Day, as Governor said, but this is very serious what I'm about to say. If you ever win a prize on this show, please reach out. If no one gets back to you, you all have my email address, Jamal@BermudaCommunications.com. But please understand that it's a giveaway. It's not like you won the lottery. It's not $1 million. Please do not send anything threatening to myself or my colleagues. I'll leave it at that. Let's have fun. Let's improve our community. But if you haven't received something, just reach out, let us know. And if someone doesn't get back to you, reach out to me. But please do not send any threatening emails or any type of communication because you haven't received something that's supposed to be fun and rewarding. And I say that with the most serious face right now, without going into further detail. All right. Maya, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
Yes, I do have some daily inspiration for you. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. That is from C.S. Lewis.
It's one of my favorites. I love that one. All right, folks. Please, I'm going to share it one more time for the day. I will share the link to fill out our survey. Again, be honest. Just let us know. Your feedback is really crucial. It is really crucial and helpful for us to improve what we do. Thank you to everyone who has already filled it out. We honestly appreciate you. So thank you so much for filling that out. But hey, do not forget to subscribe while you're filling it out. If you haven't already, Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. She's Maya Palacio. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are is out. Peace.